Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now we are closing in on the final chance for Bitcoin to break out and activate this pattern, while the price is also potentially repeating history, but in reverse. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a quick look at some Bitcoin ETF news today, because just yesterday, Grayscale sent another around 4,400 Bitcoin worth close to $200 million over towards Coinbase to dump on the market. But if you've been watching any of my recent videos here on the channel over the last few days or over the last few weeks, you'll know that this is actually a very small amount of Bitcoin, or relatively speaking, that Grayscale is dumping on the market just for one day. Because first of all, around 2 weeks ago, when the Bitcoin ETFs began trading, Grayscale was selling closer towards 15 to 20,000 Bitcoin each weekday. And then around 1 week ago, they started selling less and less Bitcoin. And a few days ago, they were only selling closer to 10,000 Bitcoin each day. And now they're selling a lot less. And obviously that is good news for the price of Bitcoin. Now that Grayscale is selling less, of course, that means less selling pressure for Bitcoin, which is bullish for Bitcoin. Because this amount right here, around 4,000 Bitcoin sold on the market in one day, that can easily be bought up by multiple other spot Bitcoin ETFs actually buying up that Bitcoin. And so once again, as I've said it recently on the channel, for as long as Grayscale is selling less than 10,000 Bitcoin each day, honestly, it's not too bad, and it shouldn't have much of an effect on the price of Bitcoin for as long as they're selling around 5 to 10,000 of Bitcoin each day or less. And as of right now, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is still holding over 480,000 Bitcoin worth over $20 billion. But once again, the outflows are a lot less compared to previously, which is good news for Bitcoin. And of course, BlackRock is still holding over 70,000 Bitcoin in their iShares Bitcoin Trust, in their spot Bitcoin ETF. And so that's roughly around $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. But of course, over the weekend, the spot Bitcoin ETFs are not trading because the US stock market is closed over the weekend. And so that simply means we have no action from the spot Bitcoin ETFs over the weekend, no selling or buying from the ETFs because they're simply not trading on the weekend. And so due to that, honestly, we could see some relatively boring price action over the weekend, probably nothing too major in either direction, simply due to the fact that we have lower trading volumes on weekends. And once again, the spot Bitcoin ETFs are not trading on weekends. But anyway, getting into the Bitcoin charts today, looking at the daily Bitcoin chart. And as of right now, the RSI is still getting very close to a potential breakout above this descending line of resistance. But at least as of right now, considering the RSI has not yet confirmed a breakout above that line of resistance, technically speaking, the bearish divergence on the daily Bitcoin chart is still currently active. And so this simply means we should not necessarily expect a massive amount of bullish momentum, at least in the short term, for the price of Bitcoin relative to the daily time frame. But once again, if we see a breakout here in the daily Bitcoin RSI above this descending line of resistance, that will be a signal to help confirm the invalidation of the bearish divergence. And as of right now, the daily Bitcoin MACD is still currently looking more bullish than bearish, but with that being said, it's not showing a lot of bullish momentum compared to previously. And if we're taking a quick look at the DXY, also known as the US dollar index, over the last one day after the recent dip in the DXY, we've actually seen another short-term move back to the upside. And so once again, with the DXY moving up, technically speaking, that is a bearish signal for Bitcoin, because as we can clearly see on this chart, when the DXY is bullish, when it's heading to the upside, that is almost always bearish for the price of Bitcoin. And so as always, I'll keep you up to date on what's happening here in the DXY and many other important Bitcoin charts. So to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And if we're taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the RSI, once again, as I've said recently on the channel, has already reset back down towards more neutral levels. And so basically, even though the price is sitting only just underneath the local highs, of course, the RSI now technically has a lot more room to the upside due to the recent reset, the short-term pullback and sideways consolidation. But if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the price of Bitcoin is still basically chopping around sideways in this sideways price range in between support and resistance. And obviously, if you've been watching any of my recent videos over the last 1 week or so, you'll know that I've been saying we're most likely going to see this type of price action since all the way back here. Because since the price was all the way back here, I said we're looking relatively neutral in the short term. We don't currently have a lot of momentum. And so for the time being, we're basically chopping around sideways sideways, and I continue to expect this type of price action at least over the weekend. And that's mainly due to the fact that, once again, at the moment, we're simply lacking momentum. And also, like I said earlier, on the weekend, we have lower trading volumes, and those spot Bitcoin ETFs are not trading on the weekend. And so due to all of that, once again, we could end up seeing a little bit more choppy sideways price action in this sideways price range over the weekend. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of easy profits from choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. And so most likely at some point next week, we're going to see a break of one of those levels, either support or resistance. And at that point, we can set up the next price target for potentially the next trade. And as traders, it does not matter what direction the price takes, whether we're bullish or bearish, we can use long positions and short positions to profit in either scenario. So for example, instead of trying to guess what direction the price is going to break beforehand, we can simply wait for that signal, wait for when we confirm a break above resistance or below support. And then at that point, we can enter a short position below support towards the bearish price target, or a long position just above the break above resistance towards the bullish price target. And if you're wondering where I take those trades in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take those trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit, or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link and deposit $100 worth of crypto and to make one trade over on Bitflex, then you can get 10 USDT completely for free, along with other deposit bonuses. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trade, you might as well get set up or ready to go on one of those exchanges using those links down below this video if you want to get those extra bonuses. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, we do not need to know the direction before the breakout. We just need to wait to confirm one of those signals. And as I've mentioned in recent videos here on the channel, if we confirm a breakout above this area of resistance, which the top side of this resistance is sitting at around 43.6 to 43.7K, then in that case, if we break out sometime soon, potentially early next week, then we could see a breakout from this inverse head and shoulders pattern, setting up a bullish price target at around 48.8K. But time is running out for this pattern right here. Basically, we need to see a breakout at some point sometime soon over the next few days, because otherwise, if we take too long to break out here, for example, if we take over a week to actually break out above this resistance, then this inverse head and shoulders pattern would not really be valid anymore, because essentially the shoulders need to be roughly around the same size. So if we take way too long to break out from this pattern, obviously there's no inverse head and shoulders pattern. But on the other hand, if we actually continue to see rejections from this resistance and we end up seeing a break below this area of support, and by the way, the low end of this area of support is sitting at around 41.6 to 41.7K, then in that case, looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, I'd be targeting around 39.7 to 39.8K as an initial downside price target based on a lot of liquidity sitting at that level. And just below that level, we also have some more liquidity down towards around 39.4K. And so basically in between around 39,500 to 40K, right around here is where I'd be targeting in the bearish scenario if we confirm a break below this area of support. And so this is not me telling you that the price is going to go either up or down. This is me giving you the bullish price target and the bearish price target. So the moment we break either resistance or support, no matter the scenario, we can make money in either direction because we have the price targets and the entries. So essentially we can formulate a plan, a trading strategy based on either scenario. No matter what direction we play out, we can make money. But once again, over the rest of this weekend, I do continue to expect the price to basically remain within this choppy sideways price range. And remember, you can make money from that type of price action if you stick around to the end of this video to find out more. And just quickly, while I'm still on this 2-hour Bitcoin chart, taking a look at that hidden bullish divergence, I did actually get some comments on my last video talking about this being a bearish divergence. And so I just want to make it extra clear in this video that bearish divergences only talk about the highs between the price and the RSI and not the lows. And so, for example, a regular bearish divergence is this right here with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. And a hidden bearish divergence would be lower highs in the price and higher highs in the RSI. So once again, bearish divergences are only ever dealing with the highs, whereas bullish divergences are dealing with the lows. So for example, a regular bullish divergence is lower lows in the price and higher lows in the RSI. but a hidden bullish divergence is higher lows in the price and lower lows in the RSI. So once again, if we're looking at the lows, think bullish, and if we're looking at the highs, think bearish when we're talking about divergences. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and right now this bearish divergence on the daily time frame is technically still active. And so once again, this means we should not really be expecting a significant amount of bullish momentum, at least in the short term, relative to the daily time frame. And if we're taking a look at the daily Ethereum MACD, as of right now, this is showing very low momentum. So once again, especially over the weekend with the reduced trading volumes, I would not really be expecting a massive move to either direction, and instead we're most likely going to see some choppy sideways price action, at least over this weekend. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, right now, like I said in my last video, the price of ETH is still trading within this descending parallel channel. And right now, this line of support is currently sitting at around 2,220, and this line of resistance is currently sitting at around 2,340. And as for horizontal support and resistance, we do have some horizontal support right here at around 2250 and more horizontal support down towards around 2.2k. And as for horizontal resistance, we do have some resistance at this local high sitting at around 2380 to 2390. And above that, we have more resistance closer towards 2,500. And as for the 4-hour Ethereum RSI, right now this is looking relatively neutral because we have already reset back out of those overbought territories, and we're basically chopping around sideways in the middle of the RSI. And so once again, just in the short term, as in potentially over the next 1 to 2 days, I continue to expect a relatively mild price action in the short term, most likely some choppy sideways price action. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana, as of right now, we are potentially failing the formation phase for that possible inverse head and shoulders pattern, because as you can see here on the 8-hour Solana chart, of course, we already have the left shoulder and head formed, but right now we are possibly in the middle of forming the right shoulder, but basically we need to see a quick bounce back to the upside sometime soon over the next few days up towards this neckline, and that line right now is sitting at around $106, and then in order to confirm that pattern, in order to activate that pattern, we need to see a confirmed breakout above that line. And in that scenario, if we see a quick bounce sometime soon over the next few days and then breakout above that resistance, then that would set up a bullish price target for the inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is sitting at around $133. And so, for example, from the point of the breakout to that price target, that's a possible 25% move to the upside if we first confirm the pattern and the breakout. But once again, just in the immediate short term, we're looking relatively neutral at the moment, at least over this weekend, especially with the RSI now reset and essentially chopping around sideways in the middle of the indicator. And as for support and resistance for the price, where we could most likely bounce or reject from, first of all, we have this level of support at around $92, and below that, we have the golden pocket area of support in between around $83.50 to $85.50. And as for short-term resistance, once again, we have that line of resistance close to $106. Just above that, we also have some resistance at around $108 to $109, and more resistance closer towards around $116 based on that previous high. But overall, just in the imminent short term, once again, we're looking relatively neutral at the moment. But believe it or not, you can make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out the video in the bottom left of your screen right now, because that video right there shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action, and the video in the top left shows you how you can profit if the price is bullish or bearish using long positions and short positions. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.